Hey, welcome back to Crimes and Closets. This is Beth in my closet in North Carolina.
This is Christy in my closet in St. Louis.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Sorry, we got a little distracted there. I got distracted at the beginning, and Christy was like, I pushed the button. Stop.
We gotta go.
Yeah,
Recording,
okay.
not like we can't edit.
Yes, right. There's that, but we don't want to. So anyway, happy Monday.
Yeah.
I'm just
Happy Monday.
Yeah, so we have news.
Yes.
Let me just get right into our news. Okay. So we wanted to let you guys know that we are scaling ourselves back from every Monday. We are going to start releasing episodes every other Monday, just so that we can give our cases and our families and our friendship a little bit of much needed attention. Everything is fine. Nothing is wrong. Don't freak out. It's just, we've been, almost 5 years, and it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And we're just giving ourselves a break and stepping back a little bit and seeing how it goes. We are going to pause our Patreon as well. So a case was released on Friday, and that's going to be our last Patreon. And then we're every other Monday at that point. So we are only going to see you twice a month. It's still going to be super fun. Mondays are still going to be special, but we wanted to let you guys know.
Yes.
So there's the biz. That's the biz. We're excited about it. We're we feel good about it. We feel okay. We came totally less stressed. Yeah. So it was a mutual thing. And so it's all good. Yeah. All good. So every Monday, every other Monday will be even more exciting and happy.
Is that starting next week? So are we not dropping next week? Or are we dropping?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
We didn't talk about that. I was going to ask you about that, and then I forgot because I got distracted.
Okay.
So
maybe.
So maybe. When this comes out, it will be Monday. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Thank you guys for understanding, too. And stick with us. Don't leave us.
Yes. No, don't go anywhere.
Nope. We love you.
So anyway.
Yep.
Well,
that's all the biz. Do you have news?
The only thing I have is that I'm doing something immediately after this recording, because we are recording on a Thursday, even though we drop on a Monday. I have my first pickup of wheat berries.
What?
You know how I'm milling my own flour now?
Yeah.
And they have wheat berries. Well, there's this company that you order from. It's like a co-op, and they deliver it like once a month or something like that. Anyway, and you go to this place, and this big truck comes, and you unload everybody's orders, and then everybody takes their orders and leaves. It's kind of like a drug deal.
I was gonna say, I want you to take your son.
I'm so excited about it.
Okay. Is there something special about these wheat berries?
No, it's just from like a farm or whatever, an organic kind of place. And I have other friends who do it. And I'm like, I'm going to place my first order for more wheat berries from this place. And the pickup is today at noon, but you're supposed to be there like 5 to 10 minutes early in case it comes early and help pull everything out. Anyway, which is why I'm like, I got to go.
Okay. I'm going to need a proof of life after this. And also what we didn't tell you is that we really are having to scale back because Christy is joining a cult. Because this is getting a little bit serious with the sourdough, my dude. It's a slippery slope, that sourdough. They tell you that.
This isn't sourdough, though.
It's just bread in general.
Bread in general.
Well, that's
anything.
Sourdough is flour. The slope.
Yes.
Sourdough is the gateway bread.
It's so weird. It shouldn't be the gateway bread. It should actually be like you dive into sourdough because that's so hard.
It is so hard. It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, good. I will need pictures. Thank you.
I will. I'll record.
I really want to take a picture of the truck because I just am intrigued by this. I had no idea that this was a part of our culture. At this time.
So cool.
If they come in a covered wagon, I will be so pleased.
Oh, I'll let you know.
Yeah. They're not going to. Okay. All right. Well, if that's all your business, I have business. I have a case. Do you want a murder?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. So this case was suggested by our listener, Rachel, I think. It might be Rochelle, but I think it's Rachel.
Okay.
So she suggested stuff before. She's a longtime listener from Michigan.
Okay.
That's where we're going to be. We're going to be in Michigan today. We're going to be in Lansing, Michigan.
Oh, I know Lansing.
It's the capital, which actually threw me for a little bit because I think I just assumed it was Detroit because that's all I know about Michigan is Detroit and Great Lakes.
Yep.
So Lansing is like more central Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so more specifically, we are going to be at a zoo located in Lansing called Potter Park Zoo.
Okay.
So there's a 20-acre zoo with 350 animals, approximately, and it is surrounded by an 80-acre park. So it's like the zoo is like in the middle of this big giant 80-acre park that has trails and playgrounds and like picnic tables and pavilions. It's like super nice looking. It's still running, by the way, the zoo. It's like, and appears to be thriving. It looks very cute. I love zoos. Zoos is like a thing for me. I like really like love zoos.
Can't believe I didn't take you to the St. Louis Zoo when you were here.
I know. I can't either. I like to go to all the zoos. So I'm going to come back and you're going to take me to the zoo. Okay. How about that? Okay. So this is the unsolved case of Bernita White.
Man, unsolved. We just had an unsolved over on Patreon. Jeez.
Yeah. This is a rough case.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. So it's also known as the Lansing Zoo killing. Okay. Bernita was born Bernita K. Sims on February 3rd of 1960 to parents Barbara and Benny Sims. I know that Bernita had one sister named Belinda, but I am not sure if she had any other siblings because there is just not much about her life prior to her murder, sadly. But that's a lot of B's. We've got Barbara, Benny, Bernita, Belinda. It's cute. I like it. I like Bernita.
Like my husband's mom's
Yeah, we've
family.
talked about it before. It's like the Duggars. It's a thing sometimes. Bernita was a very smart woman, and she became a computer systems analyst and had a good job in IT. She went on to marry a man who was 11 years older than her, named Artis White. And the two of them settled in a suburb of Lansing called Delta Township.
Okay.
Artis was a detective sergeant for the Michigan State Police, and he also had a successful career. Bernita and Artis, again, there's cool names up in here.
Different.
They went on to have two daughters. Alana was born in 1994, and Michaela was born in 1996. Bernita is described as a warm, nice lady who made cookies for her neighbors. She was quiet and reserved and had a soft voice. She was very beautiful woman. It was said that no one had a bad word to say about her, which I believe based on everything I read. From the outside in, the Whites looked like a happy and thriving young family until they didn't. On Saturday, June 23rd of 2001, Bernita's daughters each had birthday parties to attend, different birthday parties with friends. So their older daughter, Alana, who was 7 at the time, went with a friend to a party at a park called Delta Mills Park. Artis and Bernita took their 5-year-old daughter, Michaela, to a birthday party at Potter Park and Zoo. So the party started out at the park outside of the zoo in one of the pavilions. And just before 3 p.m., the birthday party was moving into the zoo to explore the zoo. Okay. So Bernita and Artis decided that they would go pick up their older daughter so that she could come to the zoo with them as well. Like she could come and enjoy the zoo. However, their younger daughter didn't want to leave because all her friends were going into the zoo. And so she was like, I don't want to go pick up big sister. I want to go with my friends. So the couple decided that Artis would go get Alana and Bernita and Michaela would head on into the zoo with the friends. So Artis jumped in their van and started the 10-minute drive to the other park, leaving Bernita and their daughter at the entrance of the zoo. So that's where he left. He was like, love you. I'll be back. I'll meet up with you. See you later. As Bernita and Michaela were walking into the zoo, so this is just after 3 p.m., a single gunshot rang out from an unknown direction. Bernita fell to the ground and was immediately covered in blood. Her 5-year-old daughter was literally standing right beside her.
Oh my gosh.
So no one knew where this gunshot came from. There was no shooter. They could not find a shooter anywhere. So as you can imagine, everyone is panicking. They're all taking cover. All these 911 calls are coming in. So police and paramedics are at the scene super quickly, and they evacuate the zoo, which had about 300 people in it at the time, and the whole area was locked down. No other shots were ever fired. Literally one gunshot.
Where was she shot?
Okay, I'm going to tell you that in a minute. So 41-year-old Bernita was unfortunately pronounced dead on the scene. About 30 minutes after he left his wife and daughter standing at the entrance to the zoo, artists returned with their older daughter, and the zoo was surrounded by police, and he's like, "What's going on? My wife and kid are in there." And they told him that a middle-aged African-American woman had been shot. And he immediately said, "I hope it's not my wife. That's my wife. She's middle-aged, she's African-American, and she's in there." But shortly after, he was told that it was, in fact, Bernita.
Oh, my gosh.
So the park was searched for over 2 days, but no one was ever found, and they were never able to find a bullet, like the bullet that was used to kill Bernita. So I did see in one article that a piece of metal was hit on by a cadaver dog, but it was never confirmed if it was the bullet or like a piece of the bullet or what. So Bernita's autopsy revealed that she had been shot with a high-powered rifle. So this would be something that someone would use to shoot something at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
The gunshot entered through her left arm, went through her chest, piercing her heart, and then exited through the right side of her body. So it was literally a perfect kill shot.
How did they not find a bullet?
They did. They never could find the bullet. They know it left her body, but they never found it.
Huh.
After doing some like crime scene trajectory and like logistical investigation work, investigators believed that they found the area where the shot had been fired from. It was like a wooded area near a service road, and it was about 100 yards to the north from where Bernita and her daughter had been standing. So it's really not that far.
Right.
But it was in the woods, so it's made sense why it literally came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No one saw anyone suspicious in that area, and no one reported anything. Literally. There was nothing to go on. They had no bullet. They had no gun. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw any car. It was like the strangest, like some freaking ghost sniper out of nowhere just shoots this woman and then disappears.
You know what I had visions of?
What?
Randomly? Just like that it was like a monkey got a hold of something and just like in the tree accidentally shot it.
Well, this came from outside the zoo.
Right, but that's where my head went initially. I'm like, oh my gosh, did a monkey accidentally shoot somebody in the zoo?
I mean, that's a lucky shot for a monkey.
I know. It would be.
And some people also, like, there was a theory too that maybe there was somebody like in the woods in that area that just like randomly fired a shot in the air, not aiming for anyone. And it just happened to hit her. But like, this is a park. Like, you don't have guns in this area. This is not a hunting area.
Right.
This is not a target shooting area. This is a populated place with lots of people running around. It's just nothing made sense.
Yeah.
And Bernita, she had no enemies. She wasn't involved in any like illegal or dangerous behavior. So who did why was she shot? They know that she was the sole target. There was one gunshot, a perfect kill shot to her. So they know that whoever it was literally there to shoot her and then leave.
I knew she was going to be there.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing too that comes into it. So they also know that whoever killed her had to know exactly where she was going to be at exactly what time, on exactly what day. And whoever shot Bernita was a very skilled rifleman.
Right.
Like a skilled marksman, like sniper level shooter here. So then they began interviewing all of Bernita's friends, family. You know how we do. We start in, we work out. Investigators learn that just a month prior to Bernita's murder, on May 24th, so she was shot on June 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
On May 24th, she had filed for a divorce from Artis. The two of them were still living in the same house, but they were not together. They also learned that after she filed for divorce, Artis had hired a private investigator to follow Bernita to keep tabs on her and anyone she was hanging around with. Bernita had told her friends that she also believed that Artis had been listening in on her phone conversations and that she was afraid of him. Like she was like, he is acting crazy. I don't know what he is going to do.
Wow. Okay.
The week before Bernita's murder, she and Artis had gone to a custody hearing for their 2 daughters because they had to figure out who's going to be with who, on what days, all that. In that hearing, so Artis was trying to get joint custody, so like a 50-50. And Bernita would not agree to that. She was fighting him on that. And I'm wondering if it's because she was afraid of him.
Right.
And she was like, I don't want my daughters with you 50% of the time. I want them. So during that custody hearing, Artis threatened her, saying that if she wouldn't agree to shared custody, that he would make public a video that he had of her that would be incriminating.
But we don't know what it is.
I do know what it is. I just don't know if it's true. And so I don't want to like say that and like blast her out. You know what I mean? If it is true, it probably would not be something that she would want out.
Okay.
It alludes to her seeing someone else.
Okay.
So what does Artis have to say?
Yeah.
He refused a polygraph, which is not surprising. He's a cop. But otherwise, he cooperated with investigators. Artis, who we know, again, he's a police officer, familiar with guns. He said that his separation and divorce with Bernita was amicable and that there was no ill will between them. So he is saying, I don't know what these friends and family are talking about. She wasn't afraid of me, whatever, blah, blah. He said that he had a solid alibi, that he had left the park, driven to the other park, got his older daughter. He said that the GPS, like his little box in his car, would show that. He said that he had called a friend on the way to the park. He spoke to other parents at the park for a few minutes. And then he called a friend on the way back to the zoo. So he was saying that he would have no opportunity to shoot Bernita. He was like, not only was I in the car and my GPS will show this, but I was also on the phone with people.
Right.
They didn't, if I shot somebody, they would have heard that.
Right.
Now, Artis did admit to hiring a PI to follow Bernita, but said that it was just part of the divorce. It's like, we just do that sometimes. Sometimes people that are getting divorced just hire PIs.
I mean, it's probably
but if you're
somewhat
doing
true.
that, but then is your divorce amicable? Like, if I was amicably divorcing someone, I would not hire a PI.
Right, yeah, because it wouldn't matter what they found. I'm not going to use it against you. Like, we're going in this together, and we're going to make it easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Police also learn that Artis was seeing a fellow employee of the Michigan State Police at the time of Bernita's murder. I think Bernita knew this. Like, I think it was like they were amicably, or not amicably, we don't know amicably, but they were done. They were not together. And so, like, yeah, you can see somebody. He later married this woman. So, like, there's no dispute that he was seeing this person. Police were able to confirm that Artis did make those 2 phone calls to and from the zoo, and that he was seen at the other park talking to some fellow parents. And they interviewed them, and they said he was normal. He was nice. We talked about car insurance. Like, it was perfectly fine. The GPS, like, black box thing in his car also confirms that he was at the zoo, he left the zoo, he went to the other park, came right back to the zoo. So it does appear that he has an alibi.
I mean, it's very convenient that he did all of these things just because he could have just done those to prove that he wasn't there but hired somebody.
Yes, he could have.
Okay.
That is a theory. So when police reenact this, like, okay, so they're going on the theory, did Artis shoot Bernita? Okay. So they reenact, like, his steps. So what they find is that if he was the shooter, it actually was possible that he could have done this and still had this alibi. So he could have left Bernita and their daughter at the zoo entrance, driven down the service road, walked into the woods, shot Bernita. So his GPS would never have left the zoo.
That's true.
Like, it wasn't that, like, honed in of a GPS. This is 2001. So it would have still shown him, like, in the area. Then left and picked up his daughter. So investigators say that all of that Like him leaving them, going into the woods, shooting her, going and picking up his daughter, and coming back could have been done in approximately 22 minutes.
Okay.
Artis was gone for roughly 30.
Oh.
Because he stood at the park and talked to
right.
people
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
while.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we also know that, again, there were very few people who knew where Bernita was going to be at that exact place at that exact time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is possible that he could have done it. I have 2 questions about this theory, okay? My first question is, if Artis shot her, where is the gun?
Right. Wouldn't it have been in his car? Like, or did he have time to dump it before going there and back?
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, would he? Oh, you throw it out the window. Now, this is a big rifle. We're not talking about a little handgun. We're talking about a big rifle thing. So where is it? That's my question. My second question is kind of similar. These rifles are big. And I know people who shoot like rifles like this. And so I phoned a friend. These rifles, typically, they're very large. They have barrels. You have to hold them with 2 hands. And so for like long distance, they normally are on tripods. They have to be steadied in some way. And since this, and they have like scopes at the top, some of them. I mean, 100 yards, it's not that far. I guess if you like have really good eyesight, you'd be okay. But that's what I'm thinking in my head. And the shot that killed her was so precise that I'm assuming that this gun had all of those things.
Right.
It takes a minute, like a hot minute to set that stuff up, right? Like you get it out of your car, you get the tripod together, you put it on the tripod, you like zero it in, sight it in. I mean, I would think that would take more than like 2 or 3 minutes to do that. And did he have time to do that?
Right. I was going to say, you'd think somebody would have to be waiting there.
Right. Or what? That was my other thing was like, did he put it there beforehand? And like, but then how did he know exactly where she was going to be standing?
Right.
Because like, yeah, he knew she was going to be in that area, but like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just, I think this is just my opinion. Somebody was waiting there. I don't think it was him. I think somebody had to have been waiting there because like, who's to say like let's say it took him 3 minutes to leave her at the entrance and get to that spot. Well, she could have walked in the zoo.
Right, yeah.
And been completely out of sight at that point.
Right, yeah.
He didn't know that she was going to do that. So, like, it's just fair. I don't know. I just have questions about that theory. Also, I will say, too, my friend that I phoned said that it didn't necessarily need a tripod. If he was laying down, that could have been used as, like, a steadying point or whatever.
Well, wouldn't he have gunshot residue on his hands, too?
They never tested him.
Oh, okay.
That comes up, too. Okay, so... Again, going back to your theory, did he hire somebody? Tell him where she was going to be, find a good time to leave, had an alibi, all this stuff. And this becomes, I think, Bernita's and police's main theory, is that what he did. However, 23 years later, due to lack of evidence, no one has ever been publicly named a suspect by police, and her case remains unsolved.
Jeez.
Investigators have said publicly that they do have a person of interest, but they have never named who it is. But everybody knows that it's Artis.
Oh, okay.
Like, even Artis says it's me. They think it's me. They think I did it. And I'll tell you how he says that. He's, like, admitted publicly, like, I am their only person of interest. So, investigators have taken this case before, like, the powers that be several times. I think 3. But no prosecutor has ever agreed to, like, prosecute it because the evidence is all circumstantial. And they say there's not enough. And you only get one chance.
Yeah.
It has been given to new investigators recently. And they have spoken out in the last few years that the case is the furthest along that it has ever been. And that they do believe that they will solve the case.
Oh.
They also have said publicly that when trying to solve the case, they started with Bernita's inner circle and have never gone outside of it. So whoever it is in her inner circle. So they're basically confirming, like, it's her husband. That's our person of interest. But because it is still an open and active case, there's, like, a lot of evidence that has never been released.
Okay.
So I listened to an interview of this 2 journalists that have been trying to help solve Bernita's murder, like, I think pretty much the whole time. And one of them did a FOIA request to get the case files. And she was granted the FOIA request, but was told that it would cost almost $42,000 to get it. So there's a lot we don't know. It must be big.
Wow.
But it must all be circumstantial because nobody will prosecute him.
Yeah.
Nobody will file charges. So Artis offered a $5,000 reward for information in Bernita's murder. In 2003, so just 2 years after her murder, Artis self-published a book called Who Killed My Wife? Now, remember, he is widely known to be the person of interest. So he writes this book and self-publishes it. He said it was to help get attention, on her murder and hopefully get her case solved. However, everything that I have read, I've not read the book, has said that it was written really to just clear his name. I didn't read it because the people that I read, their reviews, said that it was very all about him. It was meant to exonerate himself, essentially. So he says in the book that he discussed that he believes the police mishandled the investigation and that they had tunnel vision. He claimed that 2 different police forces, so the local police force and then the Michigan State Police, spent 2 days fighting over the jurisdiction of the murder and ignoring the crucial investigation time. He also brings up that he was never tested for gunshot residue, and he says that they botched the investigation of the search of the zoo and the park. And he claims that their divorce was misportrayed.
Interesting.
Again, the people who read the book describe it as being inaccurate and self-serving. So,
right. It is interesting that he uses the fact that he wasn't tested for gunshot residue as a way of clearing himself, or not clearing, but
No, I think he's saying the police didn't do a good job.
Right. That they didn't do a good job. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
The fact that they suspected me and didn't even test me for gunshot residue. Well, what else did they miss? That's what he's kind of saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So then in 2009, Artis produced and directed a documentary.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Called Living Accused, where he told his story, and he also told other stories of falsely accused people.
Okay.
And some of these people that are in this actually were exonerated.
Well, I was just going to say, you can't put yourself in a pool of falsely accused people unless you can prove that they're falsely accused.
Yeah, no, they were exonerated, but he's never been officially accused. I mean, the public has accused him. Her family has accused them.
Yeah.
But he's never been named.
Right.
Okay. So he retired from the police department since, and has been spending his retirement being involved in local theater.
Okay.
Because I look him up on Facebook. I saw that he did play Donkey in the musical Shrek. So I'm just going to leave that jackass fact right there. There's other rules in there too, but Okay. I'm immature, so. Artis has now stopped speaking publicly about the case, so he spent a lot of years trying to prove why it wasn't him. And now he's just forget about it. The people who know and who know me know that I didn't do this, and that's all I care about now. He continued to maintain his innocence otherwise, and he is innocent until he's proven otherwise. So there's that. He believes that a sniper killed Bernita. I do not know why he thinks that a sniper killed Bernita.
For what reason?
Random shooting. Randomly, I think, is what he's saying.
Okay.
So Bernita's family and friends are still very loud about getting her case solved and getting her justice. There is a Facebook page called Justice for Bernita. It has a lot of information on it. A lot. Regular posts. I'll link it in the show notes. If you have a ton of time on your hands, you can go and read. But they are very clear who they believe did this to her. From everything that I've seen, her daughters are doing well. They seem to be thriving. They're beautiful. They look a lot like her. They're adults now, obviously. They do support their father's innocence.
I was just going to ask, what do they believe? But
yeah, I think they have, they stayed with him. They supported his documentary. They were out in the photos that I saw, helping him promote it and stuff like that. So I do think they are supportive of their father.
Wow.
So the investigation of the case, despite what Artis has said, in my opinion, it was actually one of the most extensive in Michigan history. So I don't think that it was as botched as he says it was. I think they actually, and still actively being investigated. So like she wasn't forgotten as far as Michigan State Police go. And that is the case of Bernita White.
Wow.
Isn't that awful?
That's terrible.
It's a really weird case.
It's
really
very strange.
Stinking weird.
So like off the wall that one shot to a person who, by all accounts, doesn't deserve it. I mean, nobody does, but
no,
like, and no explanation, nothing. Like, just disappeared.
I do want to say too, the thing that I saw her sister was saying that not only was Artis like one of the only people who knew where she was, but he did benefit. He was the only person that benefited from her death. Like, he got sole custody of his daughters. He got her life insurance. You know what I mean? He got Social Security benefits for her kids that, like, you know how they do that when you have Social Security, they give it to your children until your children are 18 years old or whatever. So, like, that's motive. I mean, you know, but there's just no evidence to prove one way or the other.
Yeah.
Very circumstantial.
Wow. That's amazing.
There you go.
Rachel or Rochelle? Rachel?
Yep.
She'll let us know now that we're watching it.
Yep. I know. So sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm the worst.
Thanks for sending that in. That was very, very strange.
It is strange.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He did. It's so interesting to me too. Like, I'm just like thinking in my head what it would, because the Michigan State Police investigated this and he worked for the Michigan State Police. Like, how weird would that be?
Yeah.
To be a unnamed but known person of interest in a murder by your colleague.
Yeah. And normally they like, you know, stick to each other. It's like a brotherhood and they don't do that kind of stuff. But unless you've got like solid proof. So.
Which is a theory that happened. Oh, that's why he wasn't tested for gunshot residue and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But again, there's no proof of that. It's just, we know it was heavily investigated though. I think it was something like 9,000 hours. And they had over 500 interviews. Like, they did go at this hard. Yeah. That's an awkward, like, water cooler conversation to be like, how's your day going? Well, I'm investigating you for murdering your wife. How's your day?
Yeah. So strange.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for diving into it. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Glad you didn't have to read a nonsense book.
No, I didn't read the book. You can get it. It is on Amazon. And I did look for the documentary, False Living Accused. I did look for it. I didn't find it after looking for like 5 minutes and was like, meh.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really, I mean, like, it is what it is.
Right.
I don't think it's going to give me any information that can be proven. And so I don't care.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt about my podcast that I listened to for the last Patreon. That was like, meh. I listened to it, but it didn't really give me anything. Yeah. So anyway. All right. Well, thanks for diving into it. Appreciate it. Thanks for sending it in again. Listener.
Yes.
I'm not going to say
Rachel
her name.
Rochelle. I know. So sorry. I'm pretty sure it's Rachel.
Yeah. And thanks for all of your support, everyone in general. And we look forward to providing you with more content, just less often. So
yeah, we do.
And sadly, yes, exactly. Sadly, but it's a good thing. So anyway, all right. And just always remember, the world is scary. People suck. Hide in your closet.